Hello and welcome for a final time to Wettingen, where match 20 of 20 is of course the grand final and brings together two sides with 100% playing records from this weekend of top quality indoor hockey to decide the EuroHockey Indoor Club Cup for men for 2025. And no question that the two sides in rich form here have reached the final. Mannheimer of Germany will take on Leopold of Belgium to decide. Waiting for the two sides to come out. Out they come. The Royal Leopold playing in their red and white tops against Mannheimer, all in the light blue, led out by the security forces here. Great to see the kids so involved, so engaged in the competition, smiling for the cameras, enjoying their moment of fame and celebrity. Great to see all those club shirts being so proudly worn. Smallest of the lot, man in charge right in the middle there. He makes sure everybody else leaves the court before he does. And so after 3 days of hockey here in Wettingen, with many goals, plenty of drama, some top quality saves and a wonderful atmosphere, it all distills down now to this, the grand final. Two match umpires for this one. Kamile Mockaityte from Lithuania and Ortega of Spain. We wish those two umpires the best of fortunes. There's the Mannheim team, familiar names to us now, of course. Lewis Holster's added some vital goals. Josip Anseneda, powerhouse at the back, but also chips in with the goals. Jan-Philipp Fischer, the glue in the team, holds it all together. Himmler added a couple of goals himself. Ben Hasbach, one of the game's top talents, and Florian Simon, lively in goal. The head coach, Andrea Enrich. Now Royal Leopold. There is their lineup. Roman Hene must be one of the candidates for goalkeeper of the tournament. Then the two Lockwood boys, Igor and Victor. Philippe Simard, the tournament's top scorer. Tom de Groot chipped in with a few as well, as has Dylan Engelbert. Head coach listed there as Olivier Nono, but he shares the duties with Tanguy Zimmer, who looks like he's going to be a non-playing captain. We saw him down there for the Toinkos, but without his playing socks or shin pads. He's certainly not going to be a candidate for the most elegantly dressed player of the day. And we saw yesterday only played in half of the game and then effectively call the shots from the bench. Whether we'll see him or not remains to be seen, but he's on the team sheet, so they can bring him in if they need to. Sitting alongside me for this final, and I know he's looking forward to it as much as I am, Ian Delaney. Ian, welcome once again.
Thank you, Nick. Looking forward to this last game of the tournament. We've had a great tournament so far with amazing hockey, and I think we're in for a good one here.
Well, do you think we've saved the best to last, possibly even?
Yes, we possibly have. Two great teams from two very big indoor countries going head to head for the gold medal.
Finals can be disappointing affairs, but let's hope this isn't one of them. There will be tactical input and plenty of it, but I'm sure there'll be entertainment to enjoy as well. It's a lovely start. What a shot. Good save. Well, fine save there. But that was Ben Hasbach. That's very much his territory. I'd have made him favourite to put that one away. He went for the near post, interesting, rather than playing it across the keeper. Hasbach turns and tries to play the ball through the Leopold player there, who had to leap back. That was Dylan Engelbert. Hasbach again, tall figure over on those left-hand boards.
Great ball from Josip there. Splitting the defense in half. Finding Louis Holster, who just couldn't get the touch to it.
Holster's been a growing influence in this Mannheimer team. Often lives in the shadows of the likes of Pierre Hendricks and Ben Hasbach, of course. Well, we've got Seymour on one side, we've got Hasbach on the other, so no shortage of goal scoring quality out there, that's for sure. What will the service be like to them, I wonder? How much space will they find?
Mannheim high up the court, nice to see. They're not sitting back and waiting for the Belgians to come. They'll want to delegate both with the ball and against the ball.
Lovely fast hands there. That was Engelbert again. Royal Leopold, of course, were involved in that incredible struggle in the semi-final against Sons of Complutense last evening. They will have needed no rocking to sleep last night, I'm sure. That was quite a game, that one.
Leopold just in the dice 5 shape there. Nice and compact, leaving the outsides and the boards open, inviting Mannheim to play down there.
Just looking at the playing records of these two, both sides have won their 4 games leading up to this one. Mannheimer have scored 24 goals and conceded only 6. Leopold have scored a massive 34 goals but have conceded 17. Now you read into that what you will.
13 of those 34 goals coming from top scorer Philip Seymour, leading the lines here for Leopold.
Yes, 13 came against your club Wettingen as well. I'm sure you won't thank me for reminding you of that.
Thanks for that, Nick. Always nice to see good hockey or good goals, and he's one that can do that.
Absolutely. Can be very misleading, of course, because it depends a little bit on the approach of your opponents, whether sides have taken goalkeepers off quite early sometimes and allowed unopposed goals to be scored, which can just all crank up your goals for. I'd be a little concerned if I was Leopold about the number of goals they conceded actually in winning all those goals. 17 is quite a few. They started with a 6-4 victory over Vordaan. They scored 13 against Wettingen, but Wettingen themselves were able to get another 4 in. Mladost from Croatia, well, they scored 5. And Complutense went down by the odd goal in 9, so another 4 there. Suggests to me a slight frailty perhaps in defence.
Yeah, you're always going to expect goals in indoor hockey. It's very unusual to have 0 on the boards afterwards. I must say though, the 6 goals Mannheim have conceded is a very, very good stat to have.
It is.
Leading into the final.
It tells its own story. And German teams, like most successful sides, base their success on a very solid and well organised defence. Mannheim have certainly got that. It'll be interesting to see whether Seymour can unlock that defence and prove himself to be a Houdini. Leopold seeing plenty of the ball, playing around confidently. Well intercepted off the boards there from Venture.
Nice snapshot there by Nico Reichert.
We've seen plenty of snapshots during the tournament, catching goalkeepers on the move. Goals have flown past, indeed in some cases through moving goalkeepers.
As they say, always do the unexpected. You have to catch the keepers off guard. Keeper's game has upped so much in the last few years. They play a big role, especially in indoor hockey where it's end-to-end stuff and lots of action in the D.
Yes, what you say is absolutely right, Ian, and particularly true in the indoor game. When my earliest memories of indoor hockey, goalkeepers were sometimes a little more than Aunt Sally's. And now they need to be much more mobile, which the modern kit allows, of course, but also used as an organiser of defensive lines. They get a unique viewpoint from their goal line position. They need to be communicators as well as players.
Yeah, Roman Henne's doing a great job here. He's talking constantly, telling his men where their defenders are. And Leopold again in their dice 5 shape that they feel pretty comfortable in, keeping the middle of the court compact. Mannheim now placing 2 players inside of that 5. Charles will be trying to contact through them.
Tanguy Zimmer down there on his feet, wearing his team shirt. I'm a little surprised not being asked to put a top over that one. Anyway, that's above my pay scale to be worrying about.
He does have the whiteboard clutched under his arms though.
Well, that might give his teammates a clue that he's not actually got a stick in the other hand, so I would imagine, I don't know him well enough to be sure on this point. I imagine he's going to be a pretty nervous watcher here. Obviously setting his stall out as being a lead coach of the future. And probably be a very good one on the experience he's had.
Asbach with 2 great finishes there. But again, Henne is there to keep the ball out of the net.
And very well, he's deflected that over the top of the additional lighting. It's been brought in especially for this event, alongside the speakers and the big screens, which are keeping everybody engaged in this event. Now Leopold breaking out of defence, or at least trying to. Now they can move forward.
Speaking of Zimmer though, I tell you, it won't have been a light decision he's had to make. I bet you he's itching there on the sidelines to play. We're not quite sure why he's not playing, but it won't have been an easy decision.
Well, I can only imagine that he's carrying an injury and he doesn't consider himself to be fit enough, because I can't imagine for a minute that if he were fit, that he wouldn't want to be playing an even fuller part than the coaching role he is fulfilling down there. But the fact he's been left on the team sheet.
Fantastic ball with Ben Hasbach there.
Whistle's gone.
Whistle's gone just before Louis Holster could finish.
Well, it would have been perfect timing for a goal, but it doesn't count. And Leopold come across for this first short break. Henne pulls off the helmet, and we can see that he's had a thorough working over in that first quarter here. He's been the more involved of the two keepers. And there is our player coach down there, Tanguy Zimmer. With all of his playing experience and the success that he's enjoyed outdoors and indoors, I would imagine he's the sort of player, Ian, that when he talks you listen.
Definitely, yeah. No matter if his role is being a captain or being a coach, I think he conducts the game on court as well, even when he is playing.
Well, I know where I would rather be if I was in his shoes, which side of the sideboards I would prefer to be. So away we go. Neither side able to get on the scoreboard in that first 10-minute period. That's a lovely steal. Seymour finds himself in a very deep position here.
Igor Lockwood there just playing the ball back. Mannheim getting set defensively. Leopold just switching paces up again, putting Seymour into the D, and it's Olympian Victor Lockwood conducting play here.
Fired across the far side.
Yeah, I'm not sure Leopold will be too happy they haven't tested Mannheim's keeper Florian Simon just yet.
Belgium, another country that has invested heavily in the indoor facilities in their clubs, putting up temporary structures, often building playing surfaces on outdoor pitches that can be used through the winters.
Mannheim definitely one of the more fortunate clubs who have their own indoor hall on their campus and also put a temporary one up. So they have the luxury of having free indoor gym times to use, which not everyone can profit from.
Absolutely right. That's a great ball. That's a great ball. And that's a great goal. What a goal that was. So that was all about the pass.
And there's Tom de Groot. You could see him loading up long before he was in the D, and just as he crossed the line, a great finish.
Look at the run on the far side. Sneaky stuff down the boards there. They didn't pick him up. The pass was inch perfect and the finish was sublime. Well, a privilege to watch that. Great bit of indoor hockey. Mannheim caught unawares. You don't see that very often.
Yeah, do you think it was unexpected for the Belgians to take the lead?
Well, based on what we've seen up to that point, yes, I would certainly say that it is, or was. There's a long way to go in this one. Goal coming early in the second quarter.
Now, the good thing is, though, we have enough time to play.
That's a great pick. Igor Lockwood putting himself about, a man who's built for that physical challenge. Lockwood gives way for a somewhat slighter built Nathan Leu.
Belgium again just taking their time, slowly but surely finding the passes, connecting passes, building up. We have play called back just there.
Yeah, so Leopold wanted play to go on there, but umpire calling it back. These two umpires will have been thrilled and delighted, proud you might also say, to be selected for this final. They'll have had a chance this morning to get together and just make sure they were both absolutely up for this.
Yeah, especially Ana Ortega on the far side there from Spain. She's had a very good indoor World Cup and she followed on with a good showing here in Wettingen. And it's not always easy for female umpires in the men's game, but she's done very, very well.
Oh, is that going to finish? And it just looped wide. Good save by the keeper. I thought for a moment it was going to drop over his head and into the net. Spectacular stuff again.
Yeah, Philip Seymour with the one-touch stuff. Very nice to see.
Keeper will be pleased with that. And that's Seymour at his best down there. Good challenge.
Mannheim just closing the door there.
Seymour defending down that bottom right-hand corner. Encourages me to tell you that if you didn't know already, he's more than just a goal scorer. He's certainly not a show pony. He always puts in a shift. But he has that instinct of just popping up in the right place at the right time.
kind of get the feeling Mannheim haven't quite found into their game yet. They haven't had many good combinations. They're just taking their time here, easing their way into the game.
I'm not sure we've seen them at their best at any point in the tournament. They've always done enough. We reflect on the goals scored and the goals conceded, but their success has been built on that very frugal defence. And you mentioned, Ian, I think the fact that they are already preparing for the restart of the outdoor season, maybe that's had a bearing.
Yeah, Ben Hasbach was saying the group have been together for 2 weeks now, outdoor, and they've just come to Wettingen to play this indoor tournament as they were champions last year, and when they go back they'll be back on the pitch, and I think the field season starts in about 3 weeks, which they will be looking forward to.
But like most great sides, they are a team that fire on adrenaline and just needs something to go their way, like a goal. And suddenly we'll see a very different approach to the game from them, I think.
Good defensive work there.
Not a great clearance. Oh, neither is that a great pass either. Hasbach on the run here, going all the way through some big challenges. The umpire goes for the penalty corner. Leopold mildly protesting. I don't think I'd be protesting if I was them, because that was penalty stroke territory as well, with some choppy challenges going in.
Yeah, it was the coming together of a few players there. I couldn't see the ball from where I was sitting here, but I think penalty corner is the right call.
So Holster just making sure his shoes are dusted off for this. He doesn't want to be slipping or sliding as he approaches this ball.
Watch the top tower here. Ben Hasbach has a rocket of a PC. I'm sure he'll be thinking this is his moment to get Mannheim back in the game.
Well, his task has just got a little easier. And there's another clear break. Now, the umpire's got to decide whether the break is being encouraged by the injector.
Yeah.
And in fact, she has decided that.
So Mannheim got the penalty corner taken away from them because they've faked the injection twice, which made Leopold's runners run too early. And the referees and the umpires have said enough of that.
Good call, big call, but a good one. Certainly lays the stall out for the rest of the game as well. There should be none of those shenanigans. Mannheim just starting to build up a little head of steam here, pushing Royal Leopold back deeper and deeper.
You just always know Antonida has those balls on his stick that can open up a defense. He needs his strikers to be in the right position, and he knows he'll find them.
Antonida
as we
again.
see there.
Well
tried.
Wasn't one of his better ones that time.
2v1.
Leopold on the break here. This could be very dangerous for Mannheim.
Simon coming out of his goal well, making the angle small.
You'd have seen him coming in that bright yellow outfit, wouldn't you?
Yeah, definitely so. Good press there from Hasbach.
Hasbach, can he finish? No, he can't. Well, how has he missed that?
He slips the ball across goal to Louis Holste, who wants to go for power over accuracy, and it just got the better of him.
Now at the other end, Leopold again, half a chance. The shot is delayed, ball's pulled back. Mannheim are back in numbers now. Well, I'd have put good money on Holster scoring for Mannheim there. He shakes his head ruefully, he can't believe he's missed that one. 30 seconds then left in the first half. Leopold clinging on, and they are only just clinging on at the moment to a 1-goal advantage. Won't be an easy half-time team talk in either camp, I suspect. And clearly this game is not going to be decided
Leopold
in the first half.
Leopold will know Mannheim will be coming out the second half, all guns blazing. It's a question of, are their legs fit enough to hold it up?
Leopold just showing enough there. A little bit of clock awareness. Just killing the game off. And we reach half-time here in a thrilling final. Not an end-to-end contest. A tactical battle, an arm wrestle almost. Mannheimer 0, Royal Leopold 1. Tom de Groot, the goal scorer. As we'll see as we look back on the highlights. Ian and I will be back very shortly. All of the second half action for you. I'm sure you won't want to miss it. The Greek fade out here. We get back into the second half of this pulsating final. Royal Leopold of Belgium up against Mannheimer of Germany. Just the one goal separating these two sides at the moment. Well, indoor hockey has very much in its DNA high scoring affairs.
Boyarich now.
But sorry, I was about to say, I've already seen one major competition this year, actually a World Cup final, decided by an early goal, which proved to be the only goal of the game. And that decided the Women's World Cup in Poland's favour. Are we going to see another one here, or are the goals still to come in this one? Sorry, Ian, go on.
I do think we have more goals coming here. We have two teams who are known for their goal scorers. Ben Hasbach, Philip Seymour, they all have goals in them. I think Seymour's averaging 4 or 5 goals here.
Neither have had much of a sniff in that first half. It's probably a clear indication just how much homework's been done on their play.
Yeah,
Seymour on the run there. His route to goal was cut off.
Seymour and Hasbach definitely two key players that the teams would have analysed, and they're trying to keep on the low. And both have done well so far.
Ball played across, suspicion of a hit about it, but play allowed to go on because it's Mannheimer in possession of the ball, but not for long. Always a miscontrol there, and the chance goes away, but there's a foot. Mannheimer taking it quickly, but then need to retrace their footsteps.
Yeah, Mannheim just getting into shape here. Ready for an attack. Leopold defense hardly moving, which is not what Mannheim will want to be seeing.
Hanseneder having a long look. Didn't see what he was looking for, so keeps possession. Has another look. This time he goes for a more spectacular pass. It's just not. They're just not linking up at the moment, are they, Mannheim? They're finding their form difficult to find in this final. They're certainly not being out-fought. I just wonder whether they're being out-thought.
Yeah, they definitely are. Leopold doing very, very well against the ball, waiting for Mannheim to come, not overpacing, and I think that's the experience that Leopold have the upper hand on to Mannheim.
One of the problems, of course, of experience, Ian, as I know only too well, is by the time you've got it, it's all you have got. But somehow, Royal Leopold are finding the energy.
Great skill there by Nico Reichert to get out of a hectic situation. Mannheim now in the D.
Ball pulled back to just to the edge of the area, the circle.
But again, Leopold managed to get into shape, managed to put Mannheim back on the center line.
Fischer unable to stamp his authority on the first half. They'll look to get him more involved in the second.
This does remind me a bit more of handball at the moment, the way this Leopold defense is standing.
Well, you've got the advantage of me there, Ian, but I'm afraid I'm not very familiar with handball. Leopold using the ball intelligently. Oh, that's a mistake though. Hasbach, normally so deadly, didn't get the connection on the ball that he wanted here. Had trouble sorting his feet and his hands out there. Rather a tame effort by his very high standards. But it's coming from Mannheim, you feel. They're just pushing Leopold further and further back.
Yeah, and I think we'll see Dylan Engelbert there catching the Mannheimer defense off guard. Left his left hand foot open, and he managed to find it.
To get themselves moving pretty sharpish here. Still got plenty of time. 3.5 minutes left in this third quarter, but Royal Leopold have a little bit now of wriggle room. Not too much, but better than it was.
Sam Poncelet there just wanting to pounce on that ball, being called back by Victor Lockwood. Keeping it composed, keeping it compact.
Well, we could be on the verge of a major upset here.
That will be Mannheim's second upset this year, with their ladies team missing out on a medal, coming fourth in the women's format.
The men would have had their heart set on this title. Some of their play, particularly in the early stages, suggested they were more than capable of lifting it. And they still can, of course. There's still a long way to go in this one, but they just need to find the extra gears that we know they have.
Maybe now in the break. They need to use these moments where Leopold aren't settled.
Fisher, big job for him as the skipper to inspire his team here and give them a bit of a lift.
Well done by Simon there, keeping the ball in play.
Well, that shows you the urgency that's required.
Now Mannheim have space. Leopold are high up the court. Hasbach and Holster.
Two balls on the court. Umpires just looking across at each other to determine whether that ball had come off the goalkeeper or whether it was wide in any event. So that clock continues to tick down. 90 seconds left in this, the third quarter.
It'll be interesting to see if Andrew Enrique and Savakir have answers for their players, have tips and ideas they can give them onto the court.
Philip Seymour down, waiting to come back into the action. It's not been the Seymour show, or indeed the Hasbach show for that matter, which we might have expected. Both have been nullified by the attentions of their opponents. We shouldn't be surprised by that. Fisher trying to have an impact for his team, playing a little higher than he has done hitherto. Hasbach plays one across, shot comes in, keeper makes a smothering save, and it rolls beyond him and into the nets. And Mannheimer have their goal here.
Jan Philip Fischer finding Louis Holster there, takes a shot. It's a good initial save, but the ball just bounces behind the keeper there. I'm not sure if Hasbach got a touch to it, but Mannheim will take it either way.
Henne thought he'd done enough. He was a little unfortunate, wasn't he?
I think he steered the bouncing ball into his own net.
Well, what a final quarter we're going to have now, I think, because Mannheim's got something to build on. They're on the score sheet. It's taken them almost 3 quarters to get there. Ben Hasbach is credited with the goal, certainly initially. But it's the two from Tom de Groot who separate the two sides going to the last quarter here.
We have Enrich there, just pointing out a few things in the Mannheim circle. I'm sure he'll have 1 or 2 things and tips for the Mannheim boys to take with them.
Well, this is going to be a battle of nerves as much as anything else. Who can control their emotions will control the game and may well determine the final outcome here. I think we can expect some fireworks.
The goal has come at a good moment for Mannheim. I think they can build on this. It's easier going into the last 10 minutes with only 1 goal deficit. And I think we're in for a good last 10 minutes here.
So away we go. Well, this tournament has spoiled us already. What more can it give, I wonder? Mannheimer 1, Royal Leopold 2. And had the hooter sounded 10 seconds earlier, it would have read Mannheimer 0, Royal Leopold 2, and we would have been talking about a likely upset. Now I think the game very much on a knife edge. The Leopold dream still very much alive, but just flickering a little. Sure signs of nerves when a top quality player mistraps the ball. Oh, that's a nasty one.
Yeah, I think it was Moritz Himmler trying to take a shot on goal. And it was Victor Lockwood
being helped to his feet. Tough customers, the hockey player.
Nico Reichert it was, who sees yellow.
So Mannheimer down in numbers, down on the scoreboard. Yellow card, a 2-minute suspension. More importantly, Lockwood's okay. Vital cog in the Leopold machine.
Leopold just taking their time here.
Well, you sort of would, wouldn't you?
Mannheim will do everything to stop Seymour getting the ball in the circle. Per Hinrichs is very close to him.
Yeah, so shutting his every move. And that's a clever ball. Finding the extra man. Too much right hand going through it there from Tom de Groot, looking for a personal hat-trick. He won't be interested in the individual plaudits though. He's looking for a gold medal for him and his teammates. Silver guaranteed, of course. But that will be seen as a disappointment, having got himself in such a good position for such a long period of the game. But one would suspect they're going to come under great pressure in the closing 8 minutes of this one.
Also surrounded by 3 there. Still finds Hasbach.
Aspect tries a little flick back through the legs. Seymour couldn't get the shot away that he wanted.
Hasbach now on the run. Will we see a moment of magic from Ben Hasbach? And he manages to pull the corner. Penalty corner from Mannheim.
Oh, he had Dylan Engelbert turning every which way there. And Engelbert's been shown a card as well for his intervention there. He comes away shaking his head in disbelief.
I think the referees will have a quick chat about this.
Well, he has to be somewhere. I'm not very sure where the umpire wanted him to go. He was being sent one way, then the other. It's going to be a penalty corner, and the card will remain in place. Oh, this could be a huge moment in the game. Leopold have defended well at the penalty corner so far, but this one is now of major import. Four outfield defenders and the goalkeepers make that 3 outfield defenders. Seymour throws away the glove and the
Leopold breaking the line too early again. Again complaining that Hinrichs is shimmying there a bit. And it happens again. Now the question is definitely, do Mannheim take the direct shot, or do they try and play a 4v3, including the keeper, to try and defend this penalty?
Leopold overbalancing. This time they've really got to keep their balance. They do.
Yeah.
And they're playing it
Well
around.
done.
And there's
Very
the equaliser.
I think
Intelligent play there from Mannheim, keeping their calm, thinking the situation through and coming up with the answers. And all of a sudden, Mannheim, with a complete momentum shift, find themselves back on level terms.
Yeah, well done there. I don't think Louis Holster quite knew the variation they wanted to play, but Josip Antoneda reacted very well, stopping the ball and shooting himself as well.
You think he didn't get the email? The old business excuse.
But in the end, I don't think he cares. It's 2-2 and we're in for a good last 5 minutes of this game.
So back in the melting pot, I'm sure Leopold would not have been thinking this game would be anything else other than nip and tuck right way through. The 2-0 lead looked comfortable, but a bit of an imposter in some ways with so long to go against such a talented opponent as Mannheimer. Who've been a little bit flat, but you could bet your bottom dollar that at some point they were going to come to life. Well, that time is now.
Fantastically weighted ball there by Josip Antoneda. Holste, top of the D, fantastic shot, just wide.
And Mannheimer looking the most likely now. Leopold just going through some difficult times, can't get a stick on the ball at the moment. Seymour only really able to play a bit part in the occasion at the moment. That can change in a heartbeat. He's making good ground on the left hand side. They don't find him with a pass. That's a nice ball out to the right hand side. Seymour comes across and tries something that wouldn't have even occurred to mere mortals. Wasn't too far away from pulling it off. Just showing some signs of physical strain a little bit. Philippe Seymour just stretching out his muscles. Wonder whether he's suffering from a little bit of cramp. The winter he's had, we would excuse him that. Into the last 4 minutes we go.
Both Mannheim coaches here on their feet. Maybe a little impatient.
Well, they must be both relieved and delighted that their team have dug in. I have to say their captain played a major part by pushing a little further forward, where his influence on the game could cause more damage and disruption to his opponent.
Yeah, definitely. Mannheim won't be used to too many teams in the Bundesliga playing such a deep zonal defense, but they've taken their time, they've been patient, and they got their rewards.
Starting to move the ball around now with much greater confidence than we saw from them early in the game. Oh, lovely ball, just opening up there, playing it out to that right hand side. Leopold chasing shadows, but they're on the ball again now.
That was a very clean tackle by Mateo Puljarich there. Rightly annoyed why it's been called against him.
So 2.5 minutes left in this grand final. Mannheimer 2, Leopold 2. Mannheimer in possession. Those sky blue shirts coming forward in numbers again. Misplaced pass. Well, we've already had one of the medal games decided on Shootout. Are we going to have a second one? A bit early perhaps to call that one, but it's a distinct possibility, isn't it?
Yeah, there is, and I think again it will get the crowd going again. Who doesn't love a shootout, as I said before?
Well, yes, we've come up with the answer. Our producer director doesn't like the additional pressure.
So Mannheim now putting their strongest five on. Leading at the top we have Louis Holsten, Ben Hasbach, Jan Fischer in the middle. And it's Josip Antoneda at the back there conducting his lines. Sure
sign that the nerves about when quality players like Ben Hasbach miss what should have been a routine trap. A rather loose pass, but Fischer's first to it to retrieve the trouble. Now interception. Seymour. Is there something here? Seymour still in possession of the ball. Keeper makes the initial save. Umpires on consultation. blow in favour of the defence.
Will we see a moment of magic here as we enter the last 60 seconds of this final in Wettingen? Or will the fate be decided by a shootout?
I thought that was going to be Seamar's moment there, I must say. We've seen him score from that angle.
He's visibly tired though. He's had such a good shift this whole tournament for his team. He's put everything on the line, really played his club proud and his shirt proud. And you can just see him here stumbling across left and right, trying to hold his line.
I think he's carrying an injury. He's doing very well to keep going, but his inspiration, will he be fit enough to take part in a shootout if they get there? Wouldn't want to put any money on that, even with 20 seconds to go. Germany in the shape of Mannheimer in possession.
Ben Hasbach not getting the touch he wants there, the connection.
Mannheimer,
the last 10 seconds run down here.
Mannheimer wanted a penalty corner there, ball just bouncing a little off the Leopold stick. I think Leopold almost prepared to settle for a shootout here. Route 1 pass forward is the time. Ball bounced off, and no, there isn't. And the second of our medal games is going to result in another shootout here. Mannheimer 2, Royal Leopold 2. Tom de Groot's 2 goals giving a Royal Leopold a foothold in the game. They led by 2. And then in 4 minutes, Ben Hasbach and Josep Anseneda pulling it back to 2-2. Mannheimer looked the more likely perhaps to sneak the win in normal time, but Royal Leopold with some tired legs and tired minds just about held it together to take us to shootout. And Leopold disappearing underneath the stand here to find some quiet, just to talk through their tactics and make their calls about who's going to be lining up for them here in the shootout. Who's got the legs, who's got the mind to cope with it?
Well, we have one man and one man alone who's standing on this pitch, who has had a shootout for goal already this season, this indoor season, and it's Ben Hasbach himself, the young Ben Hasbach, winning the World Championships with Germany in a shootout. He'll definitely be fancying his chances here.
Well, yes, he's had the pressure and he didn't crack under it. Will it be different wearing a club shirt? In many ways, it might even be more personal. There's club hockey in Europe is the lifeblood of the sport. It's where it all begins. It's where lifelong friendships are made. So this may be for Mannheimer rather than for Germany. But this is personal, very personal. The same can be said, of course, from Royal Leopold's point of view. Belgian hockey thrives on a really strong club structure. 2 umpire managers down there with their little female trio of the 2 match umpires, and the reserve umpire, Lieslot Volter from the Netherlands as well. They'll all be involved in the shootout. So Tanguy Zimmer has come out, having made his, presumably his calls on who's going to be taking them here. It would be a masterstroke if he decided that he was fit enough to take one himself, wouldn't it? That would be a real poker player's call, that would be.
That would have been a very big call, but it looks like we have the Lockwood brothers here and goal scorer Tom de Groot, who will be taking the penalties. Philip Seymour not got a stick in his hand.
Well, that, even for Seymour, that would be remarkable if he took one without a stick in his hand. And as we've mentioned, Seymour, we think, is carrying an injury. It may be that's changed his mind. Perhaps he just didn't fancy it. Well, we've seen one pair of brothers go down in a shootout today. Not just brothers, but twins, in fact. So the 2 captains with the Toinkos down there. Winner of the toss decides whether they want to go first or second. A nice sporting word there between Tanguy Zimmer and Jan-Philipp Fischer.
I think Zimmer there just explaining why he hasn't been playing. The 2 old guys here having A small chit chat.
Hey, rest of the old guys. We're not ageist in the commentary box, just as well. So who knows what they were talking about, but good to see that sort of fellowship and mutual respect. And I think that word respect is something we need to mention. Respect for the tournament, respect for the opponent. Two teams just been told exactly how the shootout will be conducted, what they'll hear.
It looks like it's Ben Hasbach, captain Jan-Philipp Fischer, and defensive man Josip Antonida, who will be taking the shootouts for Mannheim. But it's Leopold to go up first. And there's been a goalkeeper change for Mannheim. It's Adrian Raffi back between the posts here.
Well, we've seen this work, goalkeeper change. We've also seen it go the other way. But first up here for Royal Leopold is Tom de Groot. So, just to remind you, he starts on the dotted line. He has 6 seconds. The first of the 3 Leopold players. Raffi in the goal, waits for his arrival. De Groot spins and shoots and scores. Very competent, very confident, and very effective.
Yeah, like we saw before, those spins are so hard to defend for the keeper.
And now, Jan-Philipp Fischer, the captain, to respond. Off he goes. Takes his time and is timed out and beaten by the goalkeeper's save anyway.
Roman Henne, very well done there. Staying big for a long time, waiting for Philipp Fischer to spin around, and then he makes himself big and gets his foot to it.
Now this looks like Igor Lockwood. Can he keep his nerve? He knows what he wants to do. He spins, he shoots, and the keeper makes the save. Didn't look particularly confident, I didn't think there.
Yeah, Raffi again staying high, staying on his feet, and just gets to stick to it. Very, very well done there by Mannheim keeper Adrian Raffi.
Antonida spins. He's got forced very wide. He's going to get timed out if he's not careful.
That very long spin is actually a very, very good shootout. But then surprised again that Henne stays on his feet, follows him around, and manages to save the ball.
Well,
advantage Leopold.
This is for the gold medal.
Olympian Victor Lockwood.
He's taking his time. He spins. He scores. And Royal Leopold have won the EuroHockey Cup here in a shootout. The gold medals are theirs. They handle the pressure of the shootout better, without Tanguy Zimmer on the field, with what we expect and have seen an injured Philipp Simard. But they've got themselves over the line. And well, there's their huddle. They're risking further injury down there. They don't care. They are the gold medalists. What a performance from Royal Leopold. Frank Aulenbrook, the photographer, is getting himself a bird's eye, or maybe a worm's eye view down there, making sure that the images that come back from this fabulous tournament here in Wettingen capture the emotion of the moment.